Hi, everyone. This is KIKI LOWE. I'm the author of Abuse Without Colors, and I'm on JRLive.
Hello, and thank you for stopping by. I'm your host, JRLive, and welcome to Positive Power 21 Network, where you get your positive on. This is a worldwide podcast for growth, wealth, and success. Thank you.
Positive Power 21.org, Internet Radio.
Are you aware of the many ways that you can heal your body naturally using alternative methods? My name is Valerie Moore, and I'm the author of My Healing Therapies. My Healing Therapies is a book that unveils 7 ways to naturally heal your body, restore your mind, and revive your spirit. Visit my website at www.purpleroseholistichealth.com or reach me by phone at 443-451-2689.
Hey, have you ever heard of vaginas talk? Have you ever had a conversation with your vagina? If you haven't, you're missing out on one hell of a conversation. This is Purple Barbie, the author of This Is Your Vagina, The Vagina is Where the Heart Is. Join me on a quick adventure as one woman reclaims her life by releasing her past and reestablishing her future, all with the help of the one who knows her the best. You can call her V.
Are you looking to vacation soon? Let Roberts Travel Services help you reach your travel needs. We specialize in group travel, honeymoon, girlfriend getaways, mission trips, and more. You can reach us at 404-939-6638. You can email us at robertstravelservices@gmail.com and on the web at www.robertstourismservices.com and look us up on Facebook at Roberts Travel Services.
What's stopping you from making more, having more, and being more? Hi, I'm Helen McMillan. I'm a success coach. I can help you shift into your $1 million zone of joyful success. Be your most magnetic, confident, and powerful self. The first step is to get my free ebook, 7 Simple Ways to Shift into Your $1 Million Zone. Go to www.yourmilliondollarzone.com and download it now.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us, and welcome to Positive Power 21.org. I am the voice of JRLive, and when it's all positive, it's all power. That's Positive Power. And today's sponsors are REI Heritage Tours in Cambridge, Maryland, home of Harriet Tubman and the Underground Railroad. 1-800-522-TOUR to book your scenic driving tour with more than 30 sites related to Harriet Tubman and the Freedom Seekers. All right, and for more information, again, call 1-800-522-TOUR, or also you can contact the Reginald Lewis Museum and find out when they have a bus tour going down from the Baltimore, Washington area. All right, so we found out they do have tours going down. All right, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in and listening in on replay or this live broadcast. Tonight we have a fantastic author that's on the show that's going to educate us, and her name is KIKI LOWE, and she was born in North Carolina. Nakitta's life story was anything but a typical Southern fairy tale. At the age of 2, Nakitta's mother moved her to Bronx, New York to experience financial stability and a more diverse environment. Life was diverse, opportunities were vast, and economic freedom enabled success. Nakitta attended public school and thrived at the top of her class. Bringing a dark underground, heroin and cocaine hit the market, shattering dreams and turned the streets into a battlefield. Drugs, crime, and dream became the norm as her friends and peers struggled to stay alive. With an influx of drugs and crime in her community, Nakitta found an outlet in reading. When other kids were being followed up by the streets, she stayed inside and learned to meditate on her dreams. At her young age, she was molested and her innocence was shattered as betrayal set the stage for a devastating spiral to find her value and voice. Surviving through sexual and physical and emotional, spiritual, and psychological abuse, Nakitta shares her message of motivation and empowerment through outreach and mentorship. Her book, Abuse Without Colors, shares her story and inspires others to push past their circumstances, to follow and flourish in the midst of adversity and obstacle. She speaks to others about early signs of abuse and ways to prevent becoming entrapped in a lifetime of pain. She balances her time between being a full-time student, author, mother, advocate, mentor, coach, entrepreneur, empowerment speaker, and writer. Her ministry, KIKI Ministries, focuses on building strong interpersonal and personal awareness while repairing broken hearts through empowerment, motivation, and one-on-one support outside of the traditional counseling and church environment. Nakitta has been a keynote speaker at UNCG's Love Don't Hurt Domestic Violence Forum, hosted by Neo-Black Society in Ebony and the Muslim Society. She was honored by the Cherie Denise Jackson Foundation at the Gone at the Wind Fabulous Women's Empowerment Weekend as a domestic violence advocate. Nakitta graduated from Mitchell Community College with an Associate Applied Science degree in criminal justice. She graduated from cum laude from Gardner-Webb University with a bachelor's in criminal justice. She holds a master's degree in criminal justice administration from Columbia Southern University and is currently pursuing her PhD at Walden University. All right. Woo, she has it all. Nakitta, welcome to the show. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome, man. I know I told you I was going to read the short version, but I don't know what happened. I didn't look to the left monitor. I just kept reading from the right one. But I'm so glad I read it, though, because now we have a good, foundation who you are. But before we get going, I know it's a whole lot that's in here that you've been involved in, and we love to talk about it. So we'll talk about you, and then we'll get into the book, which I know a lot about you is about the book. But so let's get started. Tell us a little bit more about you, something that we don't know that was just read in the bio and you think people would like to know. Okay?
Okay. I think that people would like to know that I am very shy and I am very introverted. And although you read the bio and you see that I've done so many things, I'm really very private. Writing the book was definitely outside of my comfort zone. But I am a creative writer, and I love to write. I love to bring feelings to life and create pictures through words. And so I'm always motivated to write more than I am to speak.
All right. But you're a motivational speaker now, so you're definitely coming out of your comfort zone.
Yes, definitely. Every time I speak, it's like the first time. The main reason is because you know that people are listening and what you're saying is important, and you hold a great responsibility to be able to deliver what they are looking for because you know that they need to leave there with something greater than what they came in with.
That's right. They're waiting for that one word that they can hold on to, or that one phrase or quote, because they're there for you. They're there to get your energy, your strength, your power, so they can, whatever they're going through, they can get out of it. And that's big of you to do what you're doing. You never know what your path is. What God wants you to do. So anyway, now your mom, she said, hey, we about to leave the South. We head north. And that happened years ago when a lot of African-American families or individuals graduated from high school and they said, look, we need to look for some better opportunities. It's just not happening here in the South. So is that what happened? Your mom just felt that y'all had a better chance of, having a better life living up in New York?
Yes. When my mother had me, I was her first child, her only girl. And she felt that there would be greater opportunities for me as well to have a fair share at equality, but not only equality, but diversity. And so when we moved to New York, it's sad when you have to tell your age, but this was in 1975, 1976, 1977, and this was when the veterans were coming from Vietnam. And they brought the drugs back with them. And so when we hit New York, although there were vast opportunities, the drug trade and the drug empire took on a different turn. Normal citizens, had this promise of getting high and, getting away from their daily troubles. And it just changed the atmosphere. The streets became, a war zone. It was, heroin was the number one. You saw somebody one day and you didn't see them the next. So the opportunities that she felt like, you know, she would be able to provide for me by moving to New York were kind of, I wouldn't say they were short-lived, but she had to use a different route. I mean, you couldn't go and play, and it wasn't easy, you know, like she had envisioned it. There were a lot of things, you know, you could be raped, you could be turned on to drugs, you know, somebody could, you know, steal you and maybe prostitute you. So it was just, like I said, a different atmosphere, and I think that, you know, not because the South is slower or anything, but she had high hopes and dreams, and I think as any parent, she just said, you know, I have a child now, and I have to think bigger than this right here.
That's right, that's right. And the streets are bad now. I know it's different parts in New York that, you know, they don't see this happening, but it's very expensive places to live, you know, like Long Island, I guess like Buffalo, you know, away from the city. So when your mom moved you, it was just you by yourself. It wasn't like the other siblings. There was no husband, no boyfriend, just you two.
It was just me and my mom. I mean, my father died when I was very, very young. I think he died when I was probably like 3 or 4. But he was very active in my life, but I don't think that they moved together. I'm not really sure the dynamics of that, but, you know, from my remembrance in the house, it was just me and her. And then, you know, she had my son. I mean, not my son, my brother, when we were up there. So me and my brother were like 3.5 years apart, and he was born at Lincoln Hospital, you know, but pretty much it was, you know, primarily me that motivated her to make that move because, you know, you got a daughter, and, you know, you want greater for your kids, and, you know, especially, you know, growing up in that time, you had probably been affected by slavery and, you know, separatism and all of those things that were taking place in the South. And like you said, most families, most African Americans, most minorities migrated north because there were greater opportunities to have a fair share at the American dream.
That's right. That's right. And that happened to my mom's family. She was left in Virginia with her cousins, raised by her grandmother, while her mom and her aunt, you know, moved to Baltimore. I think they came here for education to get into nursing, and then they went up to New York for work. And then they started a new life, and then, you know, that happened back then. So, okay, so now your mom is there. Now, you know, what's kind of challenging, does she know anybody that was there waiting for her to help her along? They had a job waiting for her, a place, you know, a couple of months staying with friends before she can strike out on her own to get a new place. Did that happen first?
What I remember at that age, because like I said, I was so young, I remember us just always living in the same apartment, and my mother still lives there, so that tells you how long we've been there. I don't remember, you know, her having a job when we first went there. I remember my aunt having to come up from North Carolina to babysit, you know, as I got older, maybe like 5 or 6, when my mother actually did start working. So I think it was pretty much just her, and I'm not sure if my uncle was there, who's my brother. I'm not sure if he was there at that time or whether he might afterwards. I'm not sure exactly how everybody ended up there, you know, that helped her out.
Yeah, you're right.
But I know that it was
remember.
Primarily me.
Yeah, I remember now because some people moved there, like the women moved there with children, you know, either New Jersey, Baltimore, or New York, but they were able to get on the welfare system and had assistance. So they didn't really have to worry about working right away because they did have housing available. So then once they started school or something, they can, you know, then start looking for a job. So there were benefits, you know, to help females in with a child. So she probably could do that until you were able to go to school or had help. Okay, good. All right, so mom hung in there. All right, so you were able to leave the streets alone. I know that was kind of tough because you probably went to school. Your best friends probably like, oh, come outside and play. So what was the challenge? You know, was there a challenge or you knew what was out there and you knew you didn't want no part of it?
My mother was very instrumental in making sure that all my friends came from 2-parent households. She was very influential in making sure that I didn't experience certain things. I mean, even though I lived in as far as housing, and even though I lived right in the middle of the projects, one of the worst communities in the Bronx, My mother never let me play outside with the kids in the community. She always took me somewhere else. I was very much on her hip, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I started, you know, when I got in school, most of the people that I migrated towards and most of my friends were from very stable households. Even if they didn't have a father in the house, the woman was very, very strong. And the kids were very, very monitored. So it wasn't like, you know, my friends were so, you know, out of control. The main thing was that you knew that something was going on in the streets. You saw people, you know, that you looked at, even as a child, you look at them 1 minute and the next minute they don't have their teeth. Or you looked at them 1 minute and the next minute, like, you see them, like, in the alley somewhere. And you just knew that that wasn't normal. And, you know, you started becoming aware the more, I would say for me, I started becoming aware. I was always keen to what was going on. Even at such a very young age, I was always aware of other people's pain and their suffering and just their experiences, because I was always just watching people and always just, you know, kind of like sitting back and just seeing things unfold. And I was always a reader. And I was always watching the news. And so I was very connected to what was going on, but my mother sheltered me a lot.
That's good. That's right. You want that protection. Now, you said your brothers, how far? You have two brothers, or was it just one brother?
I have two brothers, but at that time it was just me and one brother. My other brother was born like 12 years later. I was about 12 or 13 when he was born.
Oh, wow.
So,
okay.
You know, I'm the oldest and the only girl, so you can imagine.
Yeah. So while you're living there, your mom started having relationships with dating men, bringing them around, that kind of thing?
You know what? No, she didn't. I never saw my mother with a man. Like I said, she was very protective. If she did any of those things, we just were we were clueless to that. We didn't know that, if that's what was going on. My mother was, you know, very structured. She didn't go out. Even when she had friends and she went out, you could tell she didn't stay out after certain times, and she was very careful about who she allowed in her circle. She was very protective, so you know, she knew what was going on as well. As far as guys, I never saw my mother, like, you know, with boyfriends and in and out. That just wasn't my experience.
All right. Now you and your brother don't have the same father, right?
Yes, we had the same father. Yes.
Oh, you didn't. Oh, okay. So your brother was born before your dad passed, then.
Yes.
Okay. All right. That's right. You did say he passed when you were about 3 or 4. Okay. All right. So now your brother's around. It's like your sidekick. You guys close enough that y'all going to the same school and everything?
Everything. The school is right across the street. Like, my mother can look out the window and watch us playing.
All right. Now, you were able to stay out of the streets. Now, how about your brother? How well was he able to stay out the street?
My brother did very good. Like I said, you know, the same way my mother treated me, she treated him. Me and my brother were I wouldn't say different, but we were just clueless to the world and crime and all that kind of stuff. We weren't attracted to it. We had each other, and we loved to play with each other. We loved to be around each other. We loved to talk to each other. So we really didn't feel like we needed to branch out and test the waters, so to speak. You know, we knew it was dangerous out there. I knew it more than he did. He was a little bit more, you know, naive than I was. But, you know, we never felt, you know, the need to be out there. We just weren't risky like that. We knew the consequences, and you know, we weren't prone to trying to try it out and see what would happen. We just weren't like that.
Good. So you guys were good students. Your mom was proud of you. You're growing up. You're surviving the streets. Now something happens at a young age. So what happened that shattered, you know, everything that was innocent about you?
Well, what happened was my mother started dating this guy, and I actually thought he was my father. That's how close we were. Like, you know, as a kid, you don't really know. Now, as I got older, of course, I realized that wasn't my father, and then my mind remembers, you know, someone else before him. But my mother started dating this guy, and, you know, for a long time, he had his own place, and she had her own place, and we would go over and we would stay. He didn't stay at our house, and so I don't know what happened that led to him moving in, and he moved in, and, we were all very close, and he started molesting me, okay? And I did not know that it was wrong. That this is the part that I think that is so instrumental, because this is what shattered me. It wasn't the act itself, because it went on for many years. What happened was, even though that was going on, I was so clueless because, like I said, we were not exposed to so many things. We just didn't know. We trusted our parents, and we believed every word they said. I was Santa Claus on the roof, seriously, like they said he would come. That's how much we trusted our parents. And what happened was, a friend of mine, and you got to think of how old I was, very, very young, she tried to commit suicide. And I just was like, we were so young, we're still babies at this time. And I'm like, what in the world could possibly happen to make someone not want to live? Because we had such the perfect life. And so she didn't come to school for a few days, and I just wanted to let her know that I loved her and I cared about her. And she was from a two-parent home, but you just knew that something was wrong. You just didn't know what it was. And so when she came to school, she just said, I wanted to know. I was that kid. Like, I want to know. Talk to me. You can talk to me about anything. And some people some of the kids were picking and everything and making little comments. And I said, well, let me find out what's going on myself. And so I went to her, and I was like, somebody said that you tried to commit suicide. What happened? And she was like, she didn't want to talk about it. I said, well, you can talk to me. You can tell me anything. I'm your friend. I love you, and all that little stuff we say. And so she said, my father, was touching me. And I was like, touching you? Like, what do you mean touching you? And she was like, touching me like a man touches a woman. And I'm like, that's nothing. My father does that to me every day.
Oh.
And she said, that's Nakitta, that's not right. That's not okay. And at that point, I was like, well, what do you mean? What are you saying? And I got angry because I'm like, what are you saying about my parents? And she said, it's not okay. You have to tell someone. And I said, I got to tell someone. I mean, nothing's wrong. Like, what is wrong? There's something wrong with her. So it stayed on my mind for a long time. And, I went home. And we had this ritual when I got ready to go to bed. My mother would, sit me, between her legs, and she would braid my hair, and it was just bothering me. And, we were always taught to say what we feel, of course, with respect. And so, I just told my mom, like, I want to talk to you about something. And she was like, what is it? And I said, I have something to tell you. And she said, well, what do you have to tell me? And I said, well, and I said the girl's name, and I said, well, she tried to commit suicide, like they were saying in school. And I said, but she said that it was because her father touched her. And I said, and then I told her, like, what are you talking about? My father does that to me every day. And she just, like, kind of flung me around, like, what did you just say? And I'm like, that was probably the moment that I felt like I did something wrong. I didn't think I did anything wrong.
Right.
Because I was sharing something with her that was happening between me and him, and I trusted him. So it was like,
what grade are you now? What grade are you in?
I'm probably like in the 4th grade.
4th grade, wow.
Yeah, I'm about in the 4th grade, 4th or 5th.
Okay.
And so I'm just like, telling her, like, he touches me. And she just kind of said, well, I'm going to ask him, and you better not be lying. And I'm thinking, well, I don't care if you ask him because I wasn't lying. So he comes home from work, and, she's been crying. I had gone into my room. I just didn't see. I mean, forgive me for being naive or innocent, but I didn't know what the big issue was. We were going to get to the bottom of it, and we're going to move on. That's what I was thinking as a kid. And so he came in from work, and she said, I have something I want to ask you. And so when he came in from work, the ritual for me was to run in there and just jump up in his arms and be happy to see him. And that's just the type of family that we had. And so he said, well, what is it? What is it that you want to say? And she said, and they call me Nika. And she said, Nika said that touch her. And I'm looking like, tell her, tell her about it. That's.
Are you standing right there?
I'm standing right there. And I'm like, tell her about it. And he's like, he looks at me, and he's like, that did not happen. Why would you lie about something like that? Why would you do that? And I was like, what do you mean? Like, why are you lying? Why are you saying that it's not happening? See, it starts clicking in my mind. Maybe there is something wrong. Because why are you being dishonest? Like, why are you making me look like I'm a liar? And that was for me, you know, everybody turns, and that was that turning point for me because I didn't know who I could trust, and I couldn't understand why he was being dishonest.
That's right. Because he was trying to make it seem like it was a normal thing for you guys. Well, it was a normal relationship you guys had, but he wasn't sharing it with his. Was your mom his wife at the time, or just his girlfriend?
Just his girlfriend. They never got married.
Okay, so he never shared it with his girlfriend, and you probably was thinking that she knew. So when he was touching you and having relationships, did you have an idea that, is this okay with my mom because this is her boyfriend? Did you ever think about that? Because girls kind of know at 2nd and 3rd grade what a boyfriend is, right?
I never did think about it like that because I was never into boys. I was just really like in my own little world, you know, playing with my doll babies and writing and playing with my brother. I really didn't know anything about relationships or what happened between men and women. We were very, very protected from things like that. So that was my first understanding of, number one, what it was, number two, how to do it, and then the fact that, you know, I would have never made the connection that he was in a relationship with her because I didn't understand things like that. Even, you know, now kids, they know everything. But then I didn't know anything. I had no idea. What is sex? What is that? You know, I had no clue.
Yeah, a lot of kids do say that. Yeah. They do say that. They didn't have no idea. They thought it was normal because in some races that's a normal thing between the father and the daughter. In your case, that guy wasn't even your real father, but in your mind he was because he was the closest thing to a father.
I had no idea because the functioning of the family moved so smoothly. There was nothing that we wanted that we could not have. He never hardly spanked us. He was the nurturer. He always made me believe in myself, always told me I could do it, even if it was like the dumbest idea. He was the nurturer in my family. My mother was the dictator. She was the disciplinarian. She was the one like, you need to do better. You need to do better. He was more like, you know, it's going to be all right. You're great. You're wonderful. You can do anything you put your mind to, you know. You can do anything somebody else can do. So for me, why I say that was a turning point because it was like he was so influential in molding me into the woman that I am today as far as being strong and knowing, you know, I can stand alongside anybody and be equal. And then such a traumatic experience happened to me at his hands. And so you have to imagine growing up and having that on you, you feel like, and I lived the majority of my life feeling like there was something wrong with me. Like, that's what I was there for. That was my purpose. Like, you know, to have sex with men. If they wanted it, you know, that's what you're supposed to do. And you're not supposed to say no. And you're not supposed to say you want better. So it was very influential in just how I looked at a relationship between a man and a woman on so many levels.
Now, when you talked to your girlfriend and she was telling you that it wasn't right, so you wanted to get to the bottom of it. Basically, you want to find out from your mother, asking her. Well, you told her pretty much what was happening because your girlfriend was so distraught about it that she wanted it in her life. So you trying to find out, you know, what was so bad because you didn't know.
Yeah, I was trying to find out, number one, what was so bad, but she was challenging the loyalty of my parents. Like, you know, she was saying that it was so bad that she wanted to end her life, but that wasn't the thing that was sticking out to me. The thing that was sticking out to me was the fact that she was saying that what he was doing to me was not right, and I trusted him. Like, you know, just like you trust someone with your life, and I'm like, what is she saying? And then when I went home and I told my mother, and the response that she gave me, I was like, hold up, this is not going the way I thought that it should go, because I didn't think that there was anything wrong with what he was doing or what he was wanting me to do. It was a normal relationship, and I didn't know that you would call it a relationship. it was just what he was asking me to do. I never made the connection. It was the fact that she was challenging my life almost and saying that these people or this person is not doing to you what he should be doing. And I wanted to get to the bottom of, I wanted validation. I wanted him to, you know, when I told my mother and she wanted to confront him and she confronted him, you know, and I really believed sincerely in my heart that he was going to say, yes, I am. And he was just going to smile and everything was going to be okay. But when he just looked me in my eyes and said, why would you lie like that? I did no such thing. I was like, wait a minute. Was this girl right? What's really going on? And I could never really get a grip of it because of the way I was made to feel. Because my mother's looking at me like, okay, he's saying he didn't. You saying he did. And I'm like, but he did. And I don't understand why he's being dishonest. And why is everybody looking at me? You know, because I'm being honest.
So what happened after that? After the, you know, the confrontation? I mean, you're in the middle of it now.
After the confrontation, things kind of stayed like they were, to be honest with you. Like, he never did move out. She didn't ask to move out. And what I did was like, somebody needs to listen to me. Like, I'm telling what happened to me. Because now I'm realizing because he was dishonest that maybe this girl has a point. And so I want to reach out to someone. And, you know, like I said, he never did move out the house. Everything kind of went back to normal. I was the outsider. I felt like, oh, my God, I've destroyed my family. Oh, my God, I've told my family I should have kept that to myself. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe I shouldn't have told it. Maybe it was a secret. What am I doing? What's really going on? So I contacted my aunt, and I was like, I have something to tell you. And she said, what is it? And I told her what I told my mother. And she was like, are you serious? And I'm like, yeah, I'm serious. Because you got to think, I'm still thinking like, I'm going to tell him and somebody's going to come and save the day and speak up for me and validate me. And she ended up calling my mother and asking her questions. And then it became a problem for me. Like, everybody kept asking me, although I was just like little kid, how could he do that to you? Well, where were you at? Well, when did he do it? Are you sure? Because we've lived such a perfect life that if I did not tell you that's what happened, you would not have known. That's how regular of a life it was. It's not going to be a Precious moment where she come out, you know, like the movie Precious, and that's what's going on. That wasn't my experience. It was almost like chaos in the midst of normalcy. And it's just very crazy. But he continued to stay there. And what happened was, and this is where I say, you know, being transparent for me is something I've grown to be, is I started wanting the relationship with him because I wanted to rebuild what I felt like I had broken.
Right.
So I started seeking him out.
Whoa.
You get what I'm saying? Like, I started, because I wanted to rebuild. I'm like, what did I do wrong? I can fix it. Like, what do you need me to do? I will do it. And so it became what you know to be a relationship between a man and a woman. That's pretty much what it was.
Get out of here.
Because even at such a young age, he taught me, he treated me like I was a woman.
Yes,
I wasn't a kid. This is not a story of, you know, a kid being molested. No, it was almost like he taught me how to be a woman and what I was supposed to do and what women do.
Yeah.
So it went on for it went on for quite a few years.
And your mom just ignored that? So after that, your mom never came back and questioned it again. She just let it alone.
She never came back and questioned it. Even to this day, we've never talked about it. He eventually, before he passed, he has since passed, he eventually talked to me about it and said how sorry he was. But he never said that he did that in particular. He just said, you know, I'm sorry for what I've done to you.
Oh, so he passed.
Yeah, he passed a few years ago. And, you know, it's you know, just to even talk about it, to realize that was me living that life, it's painful. It is very painful.
Yeah, but now that you know what you know, as far as the wrong and good and children and men, you really getting the full impact of it now as an adult. I mean, when did it hit you as an adult?
When did it hit me as an adult?
Yeah, that all that was really wrong.
I don't think it ever really left me. I think I carry it around from the moment he said I didn't do it. There was a part of me that wrestled with it throughout my life. I don't think it ever really left. I think it played itself out in many relationships that I was in. And it was so crazy because as I got older, as I became a teenager, you're 14, you're 15, guys want to go to the prom, they want to hunch, they want to kiss. That was so far way past where I was.
Yeah.
So I never got that boyfriend-girlfriend experience throughout my life because I it was taken from me. So when other people were dating and they had their boyfriend, they're holding hands and everything, it was just so foreign to me because I had a secret that I realized that I could not share because people were going to treat me a certain type of way.
Yeah.
And so I did not live any of my life in growing up as far as a girl and a boy and learning all that kind of stuff and first-time sex. I didn't have those experiences at all. I had already had them.
So I was going to say, so in the 4th grade, you was actually having sexual relationships with him at that early age. And
yeah, I was having a full sexual relationship with him.
And all this time, your mom and you guys are living in the same house. It's not like she worked late hours or anything. She was home.
She was home a lot of the time, but my mother she started going to college. So she would go to class in the evenings. She would go to class at night. And that just made it easier. But even when she was in the house, it happened. Because, and I'm thinking, hindsight is 20/20. You can always look back and say what you think could have been a possibility. But, I feel that if she didn't acknowledge it and she didn't want to talk about it, he really didn't have much to try to fight. Because the relationship, everything continued on in the household as normal, except for the fact that I felt like an outsider. I felt like an outcast. I felt like I had broken my family up. I felt like I had to do whatever I needed to do to make sure that my family got back into the condition and position they were in before I revealed that information, because there was still a piece of me that wondered whether what he was doing was actually right in some way. Because why would he continue to do something that was wrong?
Now, I want to know, what about your brother? He didn't have no suspicion. You never went to your brother and say, is this supposed to be normal, or what did I just do? Did you ever have a discussion with your brother?
No, I never had a discussion with my brother growing up at all, because I was always, like I said, I was the only girl and I was the oldest. I was very protective of my brother. I was the one, in the neighborhood, like, who's bothering my brother? That was me, whether I could beat you or not. I felt that responsibility because I didn't ever know that it was possible that he could have been molested too. I never even thought that far, because you got to think this whole thing is foreign to me. I don't know really anything about it. But as I got older, I started realizing that boys were molested and stuff like that. And but it was nothing that ever crossed my mind to be able to have that conversation, because you have to think, I didn't want to tear my family up any more than it already was. I was not going to be sharing secrets with anybody, because I wondered, what would my brother think about me? Would he believe me? So I didn't want to take that chance.
Yeah, I understand. Now, how about your friend, the girl from school? What about their relationship between you two? Did it ever materialize to be more a better bond?
It remained just pretty much surface, like all my friendships. Like we were all just very close. We all went to school together. It was like, nobody talked about it. It was like it happened, moving on. Nobody ever talked about it again.
Right.
It was just something you just knew it was taboo. You just knew that it may not work out in your favor. You just need to keep it to yourself.
Yeah. So how old are you right now, Kiki?
I'm 38.
38. So you're still a young lady. Now you're married now. You have your own children. You're working on your degree.
Yes, I have 3 children. My son is 20. My youngest son is 17, and my daughter's 11. I am actually scheduled to be married in a few weeks. I'm getting married August 30th. So I'm super excited about that.
Oh, you about to get married? Is this your first marriage?
This is my second marriage.
Your second marriage. So what did your first husband have? Did he know about this?
When I first got married, I was 20 years old, and he was from North Carolina. So I had migrated back to North Carolina. I'm not at this point. I'm not in New York anymore.
Okay.
And I never really lived the truth, so I didn't share that. I never, disclosed that. Anytime I tried to disclose it, it was a negative outcome. Nobody believed me. Or if I did disclose it to a guy, he would call me a hoe and all those kind of things, And so I just knew that was something that, I didn't want that to happen. So when I got married and I tried to share with him my life, it was almost like we lived 2 separate lives. Like, he didn't want to hear it. He was kind of like, you're my wife, and I don't want to talk about stuff like that.
Wow. And he's the father of your children, right? Correct?
Yes, he's the father of my 2 youngest children, my daughter and my
son. Right. So now that you released a true story, Abuse Without Color, what did you have your fiance have to say about all this? Where's he at on this?
We have been friends for almost 8 years, probably about 7 years. So he knows my story. He's heard me do speaking engagements for it. He was actually there at my book launch. He never knew the totality as far as when you read the book. It's really like you can feel the words coming off of the book. He never felt my pain. So he knew the story, though. He knew everything that had happened to me because we went to college together. We graduated with our associate's degree together. So you got to think, I'm going through this. I'm evolving. And so he's heard the story many times. But every time that he hears me tell it, I can see when he drops his head because he just says that, you just wouldn't know that you've been through such a terrible thing and that you went through it for so long. And he just says that, the expectation is that I'm supposed to be bitter, that I'm supposed to be angry. And I love unconditionally. I trust people exactly where they are. And I'm very giving and caring and compassionate. And those qualities are part of my character. And those were the things I did not lose. But, he just says that I don't fit what would be the social model of someone that's gone through so much. And it's just amazing to see that, I'm still at this place of loving again and loving unconditionally. And, I just say that, it's just unfortunate, that it happened to me. But I don't want to take it as my story and own it and walk around with it as a trophy because it's not my story. It's the story of millions of people who are afraid to share it. And I feel like I'm that voice for them. And, he says that he's empowered by, watching me continue to go forward and continue to push past, the fear of being ostracized and the fear of being rejected and criticized. And, I have a mission and a purpose, to be the voice for the voiceless and to let them know that, it should not have happened, that was not the plan for your life. And it has no bearing on who you are as a person.
That's right. Well, look, Nakitta, we got to get out of here. I got another guest coming up. But, man, I really wish we could keep you on longer because, we really didn't get a chance to get into the book. But since a lot of your life, what happened is in the book, we encourage people to buy your book. It's on Amazon. You said it's on Barnes & Noble also?
It's on Barnes & Noble. It's on Amazon. It's also on Lulu.com. And you can also go on YouTube and put in Abuse Without Colors and see me talk about the book during my book launch.
All right, good. That's on YouTube. Now, how about your website? You have your own website?
Yes, we are working on the website. It's in transition. We're updating. It's called AbuseWithoutColors.com. But what I'm doing is transitioning it into KikiLowe.com so that everything that I do is under that complete umbrella so that people that want to come there for encouragement, for motivation, can't go to one site. Because when you're going through something, you don't want to have to keep typing in a bunch of words. You want to get to it and you want to get what you need. And so I'm making it user-friendly and more functional for people to go there and take quiet time and find what they need.
All right, good. And Nakitta is available for, to be a keynote speaker if you need her. The website will be up, like you said, if you need to contact her. You can also, she's on Facebook. I know you don't stay on Facebook that much because I was trying to get you to stay on there so we can stay in contact with you. But if people can reach you, how can they reach you on Facebook?
You can go on my Facebook page. It's called KIKI.LOWE.5 at Facebook.com. And I also have a fan page up there, which is, Facebook.com/AbuseWithoutColors. You can email me at abusewithoutcolors2011@gmail.com. All right. So they know how to reach you. And again, she's available to be a keynote speaker at, any event that's dealing with young girls going through, domestic abuse and molestation, which is a big concern in this country right now. Big concern. And we appreciate having you on the show. Any final thoughts? No, I just continue to encourage everyone to continue to live your dreams, to push past your obstacles, and you are destined for greatness.
That's right. And I'm so, sad to hear, someone like you with so many talents go through something like this. But hopefully this book will help you be able to close this chapter and be able to move forward. You're still a young lady. You still got a lot of life to live, a lot of people to help, a lot of people to love. So I wish you the best, and we definitely got to have you back on the show. Please let us know when you have events going on. You can just inbox me, and we'll put it up on the show, let people know where you are. So if they want to come out and support you, or they have, they want to reach out to you because they're going through the same thing right now, or as a woman who has some kind of suspicion that their daughter could be going through the same thing, they'd be able to reach you for some support. Because you sound like a person who's pretty much recovered, but at the same time, you need to help somebody. Am I correct in saying that?
Definitely. My encouragement, my empowerment comes from helping others. They empower me equally as much as I empower them.
All right. Awesome. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is JRLive live on PositivePower21.org. This is available on replay. Share the story. And it was a good story. He told a great one. And, again, I'm sorry, this had to be a true story. But, sometimes God put it on your heart to help somebody. You got to do what you got to do, right? All right. Okay. Well, take care, everybody. And please stay in touch with us, okay? All right. Bye-bye. Thank you for tuning in to the Positive Power 21 Network. Team 21 would like to thank you all for tuning in. And please spread the word and tell a friend. This is JRLive at Positive Power 21, where we get our positive on.
Positive Power 21.org, Internet Radio.
All right, that's a wrap. Don't forget about us on Spreaker.com/Positive Power 21 and get this inbox to your Facebook page every day.